precious preaching moment. I thank you, dear God, for the opportunity to stand behind this, your sacred and your consecrated desk, to say a word as inspired by you. I ask you now, dear God, to preach a word of hope, to preach, dear God, a word of love. And dear God, on this Sunday dedicated to social justice, preach truth to power. These and all the blessings we ask in the precious name of your Son who died on Calvary's cross, so we all can have the gift of everlasting life. Amen. If you will join me, my brothers and my sisters, in the Old Testament, the book of Exodus, 3rd chapter, the 7th through the 14th verses. The 3rd chapter of the book of Exodus, the 7th through the 14th verses, and I will be reading from the New Revised Standard Version of the Holy Bible. If you haven't, say amen. Then the Lord said, I have observed the misery of my people who are in Egypt. I have heard their cry on account of their taskmasters. Indeed, I know their sufferings, and I have come down to deliver them from the Egyptians, and to bring them out of that land to a good and broad land, a land flowing with milk and honey, to the country of the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Amorites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites. The cry of the Israelites has now come to me. I have also seen how the Egyptians oppress them. So come, I will send you to Pharaoh to bring my people, the Israelites, out of Egypt. But Moses said to God, who am I that I should go to Pharaoh and bring the Israelites out of Egypt? He said, I will be with you, and this shall be the sign for you that I, who is with you, sent you. When you have brought the people out of Egypt, you shall worship God on this mountain. But Moses said to God, if I come to the Israelites and say to them, the Lord of your ancestors has sent me to you, and they ask me, what is his name? What shall I say to them? God said to Moses, I am who I am. He said further, thus you shall say to the Israelites, I am has sent me to you. The word of God for the people of God. Praise be to God. For just a few moments, my brothers and my sisters, on this Social Justice Sunday, I want to talk with you from the topic. And God said, I am. And God said, I am. There is no period quite as interesting in American history as the Civil Rights Movement. During the 1950s and 1960s, the quote-unquote iron feet of oppression were trampling over people based on race and national origin. What made things most sad was that the trampling was sanctioned by the government. Somebody had to stand up. The Civil Rights Movement was a time when America was at its worst, but at the same time, America was at its best. America was at its worst because people were denied the most basic and the most fundamental rights of citizenship and were treated in the most discriminatory ways. It was also a time, however, when America was at her best, because in the midst of dealing with America at her worst, people learned not to depend on themselves in the midst of a situation. People learned to depend on God. And those people who stood up in the midst of what seemed to be an impossible situation didn't do so in the name of a powerful corporation. They didn't do so in the name of a powerful government. Those people who stood up did so in the name of God. The people of faith had to come to realize that no matter how bad a situation might be, and no matter how big an obstacle might seem, if you simply call on the name of God, God will always see you through. It was people of faith who called on the name of God when dealing with the impossibility of a situation that was unfair and unjust in Montgomery, Alabama, with our AME sister, Rosa Parks, taking the bus home one evening after work. It was people of faith who called on the name of God when dealing with the impossibility of Jim Crow segregation and interstate travel, when young college students that we now know as the Freedom Riders took Greyhound buses down the South, headed to a destination not far from here in New Orleans because they believed it really was true. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. And as made very popular just a couple of years ago in the movie Selma, people of faith learned to call on the name of God when they marched across the Edmund Pettus Bridge in Selma, Alabama. Because in an election year, somebody had to hear me, in an election year, everybody in America ought to have the right to vote. Now, here's the thing about people of faith coming together and fighting against governmental oppression. Somebody once told me in church, the more things change, the more they stay the same. Meaning the same iron feet of oppression that tried to trample on backs back then are the same iron feet of oppression that are trying to trample on backs right now. The iron feet of oppression tried to justify separating children from their families by using the same biblical scripture that was used to justify the institution of slavery. The iron feet of oppression that denied the right to vote back then are the same iron feet of oppression that tried to close polling places in black neighborhoods all across Georgia on election day, knowing for the first time in history a black woman is the Democratic nominee for the office of governor. And those same iron feet of oppression came out just this past week in the state of Florida. Dr. King used to say sometimes people will be so disrespectful, it felt like you were saying your first name is Little, your middle name N-word, and your last name Boy. Those iron feet came out with our brother, Andrew Dillon, a member of Bethel AME Church in Tallahassee, Florida, who secured his party's nomination for governor, only to have a Trump-backed conservative to come and say, please, don't vote for this socialist. We can't afford to monkey this thing up. In other words, the old saying really is true. The more things change, the more they stay the same. Now, this is a true story. Just last week, I was praying with someone who was dealing with a difficult situation, and his brother said to me, Pastor, you know, I'm not the best at praying, so I don't really know what to say. I mean, how do I go to God? What do I even call him? I guess the truth of the matter is, you call God whatever you want to, because God is still God, but we call God different things because different people are different. Some people, when they're dealing in the midst of a situation, they call God by the name Elohim, which means God of strength and God of power. Other people in the midst of a situation may call on God in the name of Emmanuel because it means God is with us. Now, still other people will call on the name of God when they need to transcend their situation, and they will say Jehovah because it means God who is Lord. I have learned, however, my brothers and sisters, that when you call on the name of God, call on the name of God because he's a God who answers all prayers. Call on the name of God because he's God to all people. So call on him by the name he uses in this text. I am who I am. That means if God is a God who can answer all prayers, God is already your Alpha, just like God is your Omega. God is your beginning, just like God is your end. God is your sun, and God is your moon, and God is everything in between. I once heard somebody in church tell me that God is God all by God's self. What I'm trying to say is that the same God who brought the people of faith through the civil rights movement is the same God who can bring us through a predicament we're dealing with right now. The same God who is going to fix the current situation at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue as America is dealing with an oppressive dictator by the name of Trump is the same God who fixed the situation when the Israelites were back in Egypt dealing with an oppressive dictator by the name of Pharaoh. They fixed the situation because they called on the God who said, I am who I am. When we look at this text now, we're preaching today from the early part of Exodus. This is the early part of the narrative when God was just revealing God's self to God's people who were being oppressed and repressed by the government that treated them in the worst ways. Now, in dealing with the government, or better said, in dealing with Pharaoh, Moses felt like he was up against an impossible situation and he had an uphill battle to fight. But God had to teach Moses because Moses didn't have a model to follow. So God had to teach Moses that when you're in the midst of what seems like an impossible situation, call on the name of God. God had to teach Moses the same thing that we are going to do as an African Methodist Episcopal Church when we get together outside the White House next week. We're going to call on the name of God. God had to teach Moses the same thing he taught the people of faith during the civil rights movement. Call on the name of God. God had to teach Moses that when you're fighting an uphill battle, don't you try to do this thing by yourself. Call on the name of God. Now, when we look at this text, there's a transition in this text because Moses is learning in this text not to depend on Moses. Moses is learning to depend on God. Moses is in the midst of a situation. Now, in verses 7 through 10, the text tells us that God is sensitive to the fact that people are dealing with a rough situation. God is sensitive to the fact that sometimes life can be overwhelming. And God is sensitive to the fact that through no fault of your own, sometimes life just seems like it's too much to bear. But watch this now. God is also saying that in the midst of your situation, God is saying that I have plans for you to get to the other side of your mountain. God is saying that I have plans for your good and plans for promise and plans for your future. Or, to paraphrase the songwriter, when you're in the midst of a situation, trouble don't last always. Boom, 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 boom. All you have to do, says God, is call on my name and I will get you through your situation. Just call on the name of God. Now remember, this text is early. Somebody say early. This text is early in the Exodus narrative, and the Moses we see here is not the Moses we're going to see later on. When we see Moses here, we haven't seen yet the 10 plagues in Egypt. We haven't seen yet him crossing the Red Sea, and we haven't seen him yet go up Mount Sinai to get the 10 Commandments. That means here in chapter 3 of the book of Exodus, Moses is just starting off on his walk of faith, and he's really no different than that brother I prayed with last week who said, Pastor, I just don't know what name to call on God. In other words, Moses hasn't yet learned the power of grandma wisdom, or some people say grandma wit. If you're going to pray, don't worry. If you're going to worry, don't pray. That's why we see Moses in verse 11. He feels like he's got the weight of the world on his back. Moses asked God, who am I? Who am I, God, to bring your people out of Egypt? In other words, who am I, God, to deal with what seems to be an impossible task? If Moses were right here this morning at 222 North Roman Street in New Orleans, Moses might as well be saying, who am I, God, as a single mother to deal with these issues of trying to raise these children on my own? Who am I, God, to deal with the problems in the workplace? I can't start too much stuff because, Lord, you know better than anybody else. I sure enough need this job. God, who am I, God, to deal with the problems of the workplace all by myself, huh? That's why God tells Moses in verse 12, I will be with you. I'm not going to forsake you. I'm never going to leave you. God assures Moses, I will be with you in the midst of your situation, so go on about your task. That means early in this Exodus narrative, God is teaching Moses the lesson. Put your trust not in man, put your trust in God. Now, just like there's a transition in this text, there is also a transition in our time. The truth of the matter is, my brothers and my sisters, that Black America reached what I call the proverbial political promised land, and we thought we had arrived. We started giving credit to man and not talking about what God allowed man to do. So in the midst of our comfort, in the midst of an 8-year celebration, we were undercut by a current of America that gave birth to a birther movement, and that birther movement got married to the Tea Party. The two of them had a child that came back with red caps everywhere saying, let's make America great again. We were happy for 8 years with the presidency of Barack Obama, and we had forgotten about those iron feet of oppression. But those same iron feet of oppression that killed Emmett Till in a place called Muddy, Mississippi, were the same iron feet of oppression that killed Trayvon Martin in Florida, killed Michael Brown in Ferguson, Missouri, killed Eric Gardner in Staten Island, New York, and killed Alton Sterling up the street from here in Baton Rouge. Those same iron feet of oppression that attempted to take away a woman's right to choose are the same iron feet of oppression that have nominated Brett Kavanaugh to serve on the United States Supreme Court. There's nothing more they'd like to do than to roll back women's rights in this country. And those same iron feet of oppression that stood at the schoolhouse door in Alabama saying, segregation now, segregation tomorrow, and segregation forever, are the same iron feet that have advocated an immigration policy saying, we don't want those murderers and those rapists, those Mexicans here in America. What I'm trying to say, my brothers and my sisters, is that from time to time, turning on the evening news will make us all feel a little bit like Moses, because we can all feel overwhelmed. We can all feel like the weight of the world is on our back, but we've got to realize we don't have to do this thing by ourselves. All we have to do is remember that when we call on the name of God, the same God who made a way out of no way for the presidency of Barack Obama is the same God who turned king's dreams into America's reality. The Civil Rights Act of 1964, the Voting Rights Act of 1965, those were pie-in-the-sky dreams until God showed up and showed up in the precious name of Jesus, The same God who spoke truth to power through Moses in Egypt is the same God who's going to turn a frown upside down by fixing a broken situation at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue in Washington, D.C. Just like Moses, my brothers and sisters, we all have got to remember that. In the midst of an otherwise impossible situation, put your trust not in man, put your trust in God. Now, just like we see transition in this text, we also see God's grace in the text. We see God's movement in this text. We see God moving because God is providing hope to people who are in despair. God is turning a frown upside down because God is teaching us the lesson that he had to teach Moses. God is teaching us that all we have to do is call on the name of God, and God can still fix any situation. All we have to do is call the name of the one who says, I am. I am is still I am, and I am can fix your situation. Call on I am because I am can always make a way. I am is the Alpha and I am is the Omega. I am is the beginning and I am is the end. I am can fix your situation because I am is still I am. I am is the one who did the impossible back then, and I am is the one who can still do the impossible right now. I am is the one who will protect you by parting the Red Sea. I am is the one who will provide for you by dropping manna from heaven. I am is the one who will prosper you by getting you to your version of the promised land, because God Almighty wants you to be happy and to reach your full potential. So no matter what the situation might look like, just remember, I am said, I am. The good news is that if we really believe, my brothers and my sisters, that the same God is the God of yesterday, He's the God of today, and the God of forever, that means we believe the same God who was there to make a way out of no way for Moses in Egypt is the same God who was there to make a way out of no way for Martin in Montgomery. The same God who was there to speak justice on behalf of Martin in the South was the same God who was there to speak equality through Obama all throughout the world. And the same God who made a way out of no way and did what was otherwise impossible for Barack Obama is the same God who can show up right now and turn a frown upside down and flip the script in your situation and help your life out right now. In the midst of dealing with your situation, in the midst of dealing with your problems, in the midst of dealing with what can seem insurmountable, we can all learn a lesson, my brothers and sisters, from what God teaches Moses in this biblical text. No matter how bad things look, no matter how they seem, all you do is call on the name of God, because the God we serve is able. Some people call on God in the name of Jehovah. They call it Jehovah Jireh. Some people call on Him in the name of Jehovah, as in Jehovah Rapha. Some people call on the name of Jehovah as in Jehovah Shalom. Regardless of what name you call God, the fact of the matter is this: God is still a provider. God is still a healer. God is still a savior. God is still a deliverer. God is still a conqueror. God is still God, all by God's self. So regardless of what name you choose, call on the name of God. Regardless of how you choose to identify God, God is I am, because God is God. I choose in my house, I choose in the church to call on the name